What is going on, Elf Hunters? It is a very wonderful hump day, pre-Thanksgiving day, hump day today. Yeah, all that. All right. Slight gap down on the market today. Nice little run there afternoon. We did get FOMC minutes. To me, it's usually a non-event. It was basically just a non-event, quick little sell down, pushed higher into close. Nice little drop there past last 10 minutes of the day yesterday, but a little bit of a gap down today, nothing crazy. But we've just kind of steadily sold down throughout the day. Currently down about 0.3% there on the SPY. Q's pretty good sell down here today. We're down 1.1%. We did gap down about 0.2% there on the market on the Q's, and yeah, you can see we're just not seeing a lot of confidence there in the Qs. You know, that's been like the typical thing over the past a few weeks. I mean, even a few months. You know, so yeah, it's Qs are not just horribly bearish, but definitely not seeing returns and gains like we've seen over the previous several years. So IWM, nice little gap up here today. Okay. So nice gap up here on the IWM, about a 0.5% gap up, a little bit more than that. Nice little quick run, probably got up about 1% there at the high, but didn't pulled back after that, about that first 15-20 minutes of market activity there. Currently IWM up 0.2%, DIA, a little bit of a gap up there, been kind of choppy, kind of just rolling over a little bit, slightly positive. But that's about it. RSP is basically flat. Not really too much going on here. Nice little gap up. And kind of just pulling back. Okay. As far as how the dailies look on these guys, yeah, I mean, we haven't really moved from the gap up there on the RSP from Monday. I mean, basically almost the same levels. Kind of mentioned that one on Monday. Is like we don't really see a lot of crazy market performance, and you know, kind of where we gapped on Monday, it was about how we do for Thanksgiving week normally. So I was like, we might not see much activity the rest of the week. And we really kind of haven't. DIA, though, has continued a little bit higher. All right. IWM, yeah, I mean, still hanging tough. Had a pretty good 5-day stretch there from last Tuesday to Monday. So just kind of hanging out at all-time high type levels. Qs. Qs. Had a pretty, I'm going to say pretty strong day, but it was definitely probably more the leader yesterday, up until the afternoon or second half of the day, and then you kind of just saw this rotation yesterday. First hour of the day was mostly about tech. Tech was leading, and then the rest of the day there's kind of just this rotation out of tech, and you can kind of see it. Like we were strong there on the Qs, and then you go look at like the RSP. You know, the RSP was kind of weak in the morning, but then it kind of just steadily came back throughout the day. And that's, I mean, the SPY didn't really do a whole lot. But you can see the SPY turning higher, but the Qs didn't lead it. It was mostly just rotation, kind of more of out of the Qs from the early market performance. So, yeah, I mean, if we break down, the Qs is probably what's going to be leading us because it has underperformed for, I mean, several months now. I mean, going all the way back to basically July. I mean, the Qs has been the one that's been underperforming basically the most out of these. Yeah, I mean, just quick eyeball tests and on the IWM, I would say, yep. SPY definitely, Qs is definitely underperformed compared to the SPY over the going all the way back to July, beginning of July. Okay, it'd be interesting to see if we actually do form a bearish engulfing, or that'd be a one black crow there on the SPY because we didn't open higher than yesterday's close. So, anyways, SPY, not really doing a whole lot. I mean, it's basically the same level, kind of where it opened on Monday. So, not crazy amount of things kind of going on. But the craziness is all the data we've got. I'm going to quickly go through yesterday because there wasn't a whole lot yesterday, but a few things. And if you didn't really see that, then we'll look through all the stuff that we got today. House price index. Looks like home prices kind of went up month over month, but they were basically flat year over year. Okay. Case-Shiller stuff. New home sales was actually down. Talked about that one a little bit yesterday. Came in at 0.61 million. Forecast is calling for 0.73 million, so a pretty good miss there. Almost 20%, not quite 20%, maybe like a 15% miss there. It's pretty big, especially with how many people watch the home sector, home business industry. Dallas 52-week Fed, and then we got FOMC. Obviously, there's no data here. Money supply actually ticked higher. Okay. As far as today, we got a lot. Okay, so we got PCE. Get to that here in a second. Continuing jobless claims. Oh, that's continuing. Okay, we'll get jobless. Initial jobless claims came in at 213K. Forecast was 216K, and prior was 213K. So basically flat week over week. Nothing different there on initial jobless claims. We got GDP. Growth rate, second quarter estimate, basically flat from forecast, 2.8%. I remember that 3% number that originally came in at, and now they're pulling it back some. So the estimate is coming down. I think the next time we get the second quarter GDP number will be the final. So whenever we get that, price index, sales, kind of just trying. Everything's just kind of all jumbled around. Non-defense, PCE, consumer spending. Okay, so here's PCE. I don't know why this came in after the market opened, but it did. PCE price index year over year came in at 2.3%, which was in line with forecast, but a little bit higher than prior. Core PCE came in at 2.8%, which is in line with forecast, which is a little bit higher than prior as well. Okay. Chicago PMI came in at 40.2. Forecast is calling for 44. Prior was 41.6. So a little bit of drop there in Chicago PMI. EIA stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you trade energies, that might be important to you. Even if you do trade energies, you might not even care outside of just knowing that it happens. So we'll get some auction stuff, but other than that, that's about most of the stuff. So we don't really have any important stuff coming Friday. We got Fed balance sheet, that's it. Obviously the market's closed tomorrow. I will not live stream on Friday. Just enjoy your time with your family. It's gonna be a half day on the market anyway, so the market will be open, but probably not a lot going on. All right, so that's kind of all the data that we did get. Kind of a lot there. Just kind of wanted to hit some of the bigger stuff that has a lot more market determination. VIX though, a little bit of a higher open today, kind of just hanging out, not really doing a whole lot. Yeah, I mean, until we get back above the 17 level, I mean, anything below that basically 17 level can just be a slow grind higher. I'm not gonna dwell too much on that. Just keep an eye on where that price level is, or the VIX level is. DXY, dollar. Okay, so the dollar was holding kind of strong yesterday with, I mean, kind of, but we had that pretty good gap up yesterday. But obviously you can see the breakdown today. So the dollar might be setting in for a pretty good rest here. It's been moving really strong since the start of October. It did still get through all these highs. So yeah, I mean, it can definitely set in here. I mean, I get it. It looks like a huge bearish move here over the past day or two, or at least so far this week. But until we really kind of get below some of these levels, it could just start to chop and consolidate anywhere in here. So anyways, DXY pulling back pretty good today. As far as the GLD, kind of just sitting right on top of the moving averages, not doing a whole lot, just kind of sitting on the top of the moving averages. All right, 10-year yield's pulling back a little bit. One thing that's always weird, or not weird, but interesting on Thanksgiving week, since it's a sleepy week, not a lot of volume and activity. What's volume kind of coming in like so far this week? Volume's been okay. Typically, some of the previous years I kind of noticed that just kind of more of me observing notice. Don't really have the data to back this up. It seems like there's been a lot less volume typically on Thanksgiving week, so it's easy to kind of move the market around to maybe get a position in a certain way or not. And typically when you come out of Thanksgiving week, like next week, you'll see the market go opposite of what you do on Thanksgiving week. Anyways, 10-2 inversion, just kind of hanging out. Pretty strong pop there on the 10-2 inversion yesterday. Oh man, HYG is looking so good. So good. It's getting really close, man. If it pops this 79.85 level, watch out. Thing could be looking pretty good. Which, I mean, that could be, that might mean the yields might be pretty bearish at that point in time. So LQD kind of staying tough. This looks like this is going to probably pop this top as well. Anyways, LQD looking pretty good. TLT sitting right on top of that 50 EMA. Yeah, looks like the TLT is just hanging pretty tough here. Obviously, it's hit the 50 EMA. We're going to have the 200 slightly above our current price level if we break that 50 EMA. And the LQD is kind of been sandwiched in between the 200, 100 in here. So I mean, it can definitely pop to that 100 if it breaks through that 50 EMA here. Maybe Friday, early next week. As far as sector performance tech, yeah, you can see the tech just getting hammered today. We can take a look at the heat map, see what's going on. Where is it really coming from? Discretionary is kind of in line with the market there. Communications, industrials outperforming. Materials, utilities outperforming. Pretty good. Energies, financials, staples doing well. Real estate and healthcare at the higher end of the day. I would say real estate makes a lot of sense. Yields are pulling back pretty good. As far as, I mean, everything else is doing really well, but I mean, you look at the SPY and it's down a third of a percent. And why is that? Well, tech's down almost 2%. So, yeah, it's kind of a brutal day when your largest weighting is not doing well. As far as intraday price action, you can really see kind of what's going on intraday. Tech is continuing to kind of hemorrhage the bleeding there throughout the day. Discretionaries, Tesla, Amazon in that basket right there, kind of continuing to see some selling during the day. Industrials kind of in line with the market, as well as materials. Tech, utilities a little bit outperforming there. Staples doing pretty well, outperforming. Financials, real estate doing pretty good. Energies doing solid, and healthcare at the higher end of the intraday price action. Okay, as far as just a quick glimpse of really kind of what's going on, you can see, man, tech is getting hit the sell button today.